You bring your dog to the edge of the lake, or the beach, or even just a shallow stream, expecting something simple, a little curiosity, a few careful steps, maybe even that classic happy dog moment people imagine so easily, splashing, paddling, tail wagging like they were born for it. But instead, your dog freezes, or backs away, or plants their feet into the ground like the water itself is a threat. Some dogs panic at the sound of waves, some hate rain, some will leap into mud without a second thought but act personally betrayed by a clean bath. And most owners explain it the same way. My dog just doesn't like water. But that answer is too vague to be useful and too shallow to be true, because when a dog is secretly afraid of water, the reason is usually not random at all. It's often a mix of biology, control, early experience, body awareness, and the way your dog's nervous system reacts to uncertainty. And once you understand that, this stops looking like stubbornness and starts looking like communication. Let's begin with the biggest myth. People assume all dogs are natural swimmers, that if a dog has four legs and enough enthusiasm, water should make sense automatically. But swimming is not the same as feeling safe in water, and comfort around water is not evenly distributed across dogs. Breed matters more than people realize. Some dogs were developed to retrieve from lakes, move confidently through marshland, or work alongside humans in wet environments. Others were not. Body shape matters too. A dog with a heavy chest, short legs, low body fat, limited buoyancy, or a coat that becomes dense and waterlogged may experience water very differently from a lean, athletic dog built for movement. To one dog, water feels like play. To another, it feels like the sudden loss of balance, control, and dignity all at once. That loss of control is one of the biggest reasons fear shows up. On land, your dog understands the rules. They know how to stop, turn, brace, run, and orient their body. Water changes all of that. The ground disappears, traction disappears, familiar movement patterns stop working, sounds are different, surfaces are reflective and unstable, depth is hard to judge. Even the temperature can feel like a shock to the system. For some dogs, that kind of sensory unpredictability is thrilling. For others, it is exactly the kind of situation that triggers caution. And cautious dogs are not being dramatic. They are doing what nervous systems are designed to do when the environment stops feeling readable. This is why many water-fearful dogs do not look scared in the cartoon sense. They may not bark, cry, or run. Sometimes they just hesitate. Sometimes they lean back, lower their body, lick their lips, glance away, or refuse to move forward. Owners often miss those early signs because they are expecting obvious panic, but dogs communicate discomfort quietly at first, and when those quiet signals are ignored, when the owner keeps pulling, coaxing, laughing, or carrying them toward the water anyway, the fear often gets stronger. What could have stayed as mild uncertainty becomes a real memory of being pressured in a place that already felt unsafe, and that memory piece matters more than people think. Many dogs who are afraid of water are not afraid of water in the abstract. They are afraid of what happened around water. Maybe they slipped near a pool. Maybe they were forced into a bath when they were already stressed. Maybe someone poured water over their face. Maybe their first lake experience involved rough waves, cold shock, or a body of water that dropped off faster than they expected. Dogs learn through association very quickly, especially when emotion is involved. If the first few water experiences felt unpredictable, humiliating, or physically uncomfortable, the dog's brain may have filed water under one simple category: not safe. Baths are a perfect example of this confusion. Owners say, "But my dog hates water," and then notice the same dog happily stomping through puddles or standing in wet grass. That is because a bath is not just water, it is restraint, it is slippery footing, it is unnatural smells, it is the sound of running water in a small, echoing room. It is someone looming over the dog, touching them everywhere, while escape becomes impossible. Of course, some dogs hate baths. The water is only one part of the equation. To the dog, the real issue may be the total loss of agency. And once you understand that, a dog fearing a bath and a dog fearing a lake stop being the same story. There is also a sound dimension to all this that humans underestimate. Dogs hear differently from us. Water is not silent to them. Waves crash, hoses hiss, faucets roar in a tile room, rain hits rooftops, windows, leaves, gutters, and pavement all at once. For a noise-sensitive dog, the soundscape around water may be more disturbing than the water itself. That is why some dogs dislike the beach long before they touch the ocean. They hear the chaos before they process the experience, and if your dog is already slightly anxious by temperament, that sensory intensity can make water feel less like an activity and more like a whole, unstable event. Then, there is temperature. People forget this constantly. Water that feels refreshing to you can feel invasive to your dog. Cold water hits fast. It changes breathing, muscle tension, and body comfort immediately. Some dogs recover from that sensation easily, others do not. A dog who dislikes cold, startles easily, or has a more sensitive body may experience even shallow water as physically unpleasant. And if they are older, stiff, sore, or dealing with joint discomfort, the transition in and out of water can feel even worse. Fear is sometimes emotional, but sometimes it begins with the body simply saying, "This does not feel good." Temperament plays a huge role too. Bold dogs often investigate first and worry later. Sensitive dogs do the opposite. A naturally observant, careful, or control-oriented dog may need far more time around water before they feel safe enough to experiment. This is why comparing dogs is such a mistake. Owners see another dog leaping happily into the lake and assume theirs should do the same. But dogs are not failing some universal dog test by being cautious. They are bringing their own nervous system, their own body, their own history, and their own threshold for uncertainty into the moment. Water just happens to expose those differences very quickly. And sometimes what looks like fear of water is actually fear of separation from the owner. This happens more than people realize. A dog may refuse to swim out, not because they hate swimming, but because distance from the shore means distance from safety, and safety is often you. They may pace, bark, or stay close to the edge because they do not want the bond disrupted by an environment where movement feels unfamiliar. To the owner, it looks like refusal. To the dog, it may be attachment mixed with uncertainty. The question is not just, do I trust the water? It is, do I trust this entire situation enough to leave my safe point? That is why forcing rarely works. Throwing the dog in, dragging them forward, or using other dogs as pressure almost always backfires. Even if the dog technically swims, the brain does not learn water is safe. It learns that near water, control disappears and bad things happen fast. Real confidence is built the other way around. Distance first, observation first, choice first. Letting the dog approach, retreat, sniff, listen, and build familiarity without being trapped in the experience. The dogs who become comfortable around water over time usually do so because they were allowed to make sense of it, not because they were overpowered into tolerating it. This is also where owners need to separate fear from preference. Some dogs are scared of water. Some just do not enjoy it. Those are not the same thing. A dog who calmly avoids the lake but shows no real distress may simply be saying no, thank you. And that matters because not every dog needs to become a water dog. There is a strange pressure owners place on dogs to enjoy the same activities humans romanticize: swimming, beaches, baths, paddleboards, hoses in the garden. But your dog is not obligated to find your summer vision charming. Sometimes, the most respectful thing you can do is stop trying to turn reluctance into a personality flaw. Still, if your dog suddenly becomes afraid of water after previously being fine, pay attention. Behavior changes matter. Pain, ear problems, skin sensitivity, arthritis, vision changes, age-related insecurity, and negative incidents can all change how a dog experiences water. A dog who once loved swimming but now avoids it may not be becoming difficult. They may be telling you that something in the experience has started to hurt, overwhelm, or confuse them. The fear is not the problem. It is the clue. So why are some dogs secretly afraid of water? Usually because water is not just water. It is sound, temperature, balance, memory, body awareness, control, exposure, and trust all at once. For one dog, that mix feels exhilarating. For another, it feels like stepping into a world where too many familiar rules suddenly stop applying. And if that second dog is yours, the goal is not to shame them, drag them, or joke that they are broken. The goal is to listen more carefully to what the fear is actually saying. Because underneath the hesitation, your dog is not being difficult. They are telling you something precise and important. In this environment, I do not feel safe yet. And that is a very different story.